So in this video, I'm going to show you what I finally came up with, the best code for Sumo Bots, and then at the end, I'm going to show you some things that go wrong during battles and how to troubleshoot them. Always start with when program starts, obviously, and we're going to put the set movement block in here. Always got to tell the hub which motors are going to be working together as moving the robot. And then we're going to set a speed. I'm going to set a speed a few times in this robot. To start with, this is the spinning speed, how fast it's going to spin. That's right, all my robots in my battles always spin, and I've come to the conclusion that it's good to spin pretty fast at the start. And we're going to choose this block here that says move right, but we're going to change it to root 100% turn. It's a bit like a percentage of how sharp the turn is. A 30% turn is very wide, but 100% is spinning on the spot with one wheel going forwards and one wheel going backwards. Now we're going to change this to seconds, because the rules in my battle bots are that the robot needs to spin for 2 seconds, and you can decide how fast you want it to spin. But that just makes the robot battles a little bit more random than they're just crashing into each other at the start. So they both spin for 2 seconds, and then we need to do something forever. So we're going to go to the control tab, and we're going to choose the block that says forever. So the bottom yellow tab, control, choose forever. And then inside there, we're going to have a chance to set the speed again, because on a sumo board, you don't want to be going flat out, especially if you've got big wheels. It's a bit too fast to be going 75%. So we're going to set the speed here, and I recommend a speed around 40%. Obviously, you never go bigger than 100%. I mean, you can't go faster than 100%. If you put a number in there bigger than 100, often it has errors. So never go faster than 100. In fact, I reckon never even go faster than 50 if you're traveling towards the line. So we're going to grab the block that says start moving. So it was up there. I'm going to put it in there, the start moving block. And then we're going to say if it sees the white line, we're going to go backwards and start turning and scanning for the other robot. So let's go back to the control tab and choose if then. Don't choose if then else, just choose if then. Grab if then, put it in here. And inside this hexagon, we're going to place one of the sensor blocks. So go over to the blue sensor tab, and we're going to choose the one that has the light sensor in it, or color sensor. So for my robots, I've got a white circle on the outside of my board. So I'm just going to use the one that sees white. So grab that. And when you build it, your sensor should be just a couple of centimeters off the ground, and it will see the colors well. If it's too high, the colors get confused. If it's too low, the colors get confused. But I'm also going to plug my sensor into port B. I always like to color my color sensor into port B. And then we're going to get it to change speed again, because this is going to be going the speed that's going backwards from the line. So let's choose set movement speed again, and we're going to grab that one. I'm going to put it underneath here, and we can go backwards pretty fast. So again, we could even go about 80%, because we're going away from the white line. We're going away from the edge. It could be pretty fast. And then we're going to grab the top block, which says move forwards for 10 rotations, but we don't want to go forwards. Upwards is often forwards encoding, downwards is often backwards. We're going to go backwards, but just one rotation. If you've got big wheels, one rotation's enough. If you've got small wheels, maybe you could go two rotations. Now we're going to scan for the other robot. So we need to go pretty slowly, so the distance sensor. So we're going to set movement speed again, and we're going to choose a slow speed, maybe even just 15%, okay? And then that will, we're going to make it spin very slowly so it can see the other robot. And when it sees the other robot, we're going to code it to charge towards it. So go up here that says right 30 again. This one here, the one that we used before, right 30. But this time we might just make it a bit different by spinning the other way. Sometimes it's good to mix things up to make the battles a bit more interesting. So we're going to go left negative 100. And that'll make it spin, but it will spin the opposite way to what it did at the start. And we're just going to spin for 3 rotations of the wheels. It's going to go slowly, so it's going to spend a fair bit of time scanning for the other robot. Now that's going to do everything we need it to do to travel around the board, but it hasn't seen the other robot yet. So we need to come over to the events tab here, the events tab, and we choose the block that says when program starts again. Okay, and then inside there, we're going to grab a forever loop. And inside there, we're going to say if the robot gets seen. So we're going to choose if then. If then. If the robot is seen, it's seeing the other robot. So let's choose the block that says it's got the eyes on it like the sensor. This one, closer than 15%. So you just hover above the hexagon, then you can drop it in, and then we're going to change it to about 30 centimeters. So change the 15 to 30, and make it sure it says centimeters. So if the robot is closer than 15 centimeters to the other robot, then they're going to set the speed again. So let's go back to the pink menu, and we're going to set the speed because we could go pretty fast towards the other robot. Hopefully it's in front of us. Hopefully we're going to go pretty fast, so maybe even 80 again, something like that. Nice and fast. And then we're going to start moving forward. Now, if I run this code now, it runs both stacks at once. So it should do all this, but if it sees the other robot, it does this. But just occasionally, it was doing this side first, and I couldn't work out why. And I've worked out a way to fix that. So if we go to control, if we go to control, and we just wait a couple of seconds at the start, maybe 2 seconds, that's the same duration as it's going to spin for, then it doesn't seem to do this unless it sees the other robot. So that's a pretty important step there. Wait 2 seconds before it starts scanning for the other robot. So it's not going to scan for the other robot while it's spinning really fast anyway. So make sure you put wait 2 seconds in there. And that's basically all you need to make it work. So this is what I tell my kids. If you want to change some of the settings, then this number here is how fast it spins at the start. This number here is how fast it goes forward towards the white line. This number here has how fast it goes backwards when it sees the white line. This one is how fast it goes when it's scanning for the other robot. And this one is how fast it attacks the other robot. So it's worth having a bit of a play with some of those numbers sometimes. And if you're not sure where to plug things in, well, you can always look at the code. The motors get plugged into C and D. The color sensor gets plugged into B. And the distance sensor, or ultrasonic sensor, gets plugged into port A. I'm about to tell you 5 problems that often happen during Sumo Bot lessons and 5 solutions, but before I do, here's a shout out to my 4 members. You can become a member too by clicking on the link in the description, but let's get into it. So one of the first things that I check is that to make sure things are plugged into the right ports, and I can tell by looking at this one that things aren't in the right ports, but sometimes they even look right, but they're still in the wrong ports because some of them are in the opposite port to what they should be. So this kind of looks right, but if you tap here where you connect normally, you can see where things are plugged in. And I know that my distance sensors should be plugged into A. My color sensor should be plugged into B. So I need to swap these around so that they're in the right ports. So the number one thing that where kids have errors is that they've plugged things into the wrong ports. And now it should look correct on here, which is good. You can go back to the code here. So you can always check where things are plugged in by tapping up here. You can also check just by tapping the little arrow next to the connection tab there, and it should show you where things are plugged in as well. Okay. So that's the number one reason that things go wrong, and that's how you fix it. Another thing that goes wrong is that when the kid's robot starts, it seems to spin okay, and then it goes backwards off the board. And this is because it's going the wrong way, obviously. So the quickest way to fix that is just to take out C and D and swap them around. So put D into C and C into D, and then the robot should travel in the right direction. Oops. Let's go. It's working now, good. So swap the cables around if it's going backwards at the start. Now, sometimes kids don't even notice when their cables are caught around wheels and that sort of thing. So the number 3 problem is that kids have cables that are caught on the wheels and they don't work properly, obviously. I don't use those things. I don't like them. I think they damage the cables and the motors, so I don't use them. All I do is tell the kids to take out one cable and see if you can wrap it around some of the other ones and then pop it back in where it's supposed to belong. So, but just take out one cable and wrap it around the rest, and then that keeps them away from the wheels. Looks messy, but it works. The fourth reason why things might go wrong is because the sensor is too close to the ground. So make sure that it's always 1 to 2 centimeters off the ground. It will see the colors properly. Sometimes it's plugged in the wrong port, as we've discussed. Often I'll say, my sensor's not working. So the first thing I do is check that it's in the right port. Then I check that it's obviously not too close to the ground or too far away. Sometimes this is too close to the wheel. So it's right next to the wheel or the ball, and it falls off before it gets a chance to read it. So that's no good. So it has to stick out a little bit, so the wheel's got a chance to stop before the edge of the line. So it's either too low, too high, too close to the walls, or it's not plugged into the right one. But you can check also on here if it's seeing the right colors. So you can tap here and you can see what color it's seeing there. At the moment, one's seeing a white table. You can see if there's a black block, it can go, it's now seeing a black block. So you can see what color it is by putting on the edge of the board or on the board and see if it's reading the right colors. If you're using reflected light, you can change this setting here to reflected light, and that'll give you a reading of how much light it's seeing. For example, at the moment, it's seeing about 11% light while it's on black, and then when I put it on white, then it's seeing about 49% light. So I could say if it's greater than like 30% light, then it will work. So if you're using reflected light, it's good to get a reading off here by changing this to reflected light, and then putting on the black, putting on the white, and sort of getting a number in the middle, okay? And when you use, instead of this one, if you're using reflected light, this one, if you're using reflected light, then you can make it when it's greater than 30, for example. It should work, okay? Because at the moment, it's only seeing about 9%, and here, it's seeing about 40%, 70% now, okay? So if it's greater than 30, it should work. But I like to use just the colour sensor with the white. It's less confusing for younger kids in particular. So often there's just a simple issue with the code. Sometimes they might have even detached something like this, and somehow it's just sitting on it like this, and they don't even realise it. So make sure the blocks are connected, and make sure that none of them have been deleted, because if they're deleted, they're not going to work. Some people think that they can just get rid of some blocks, but don't forget the usefulness of the undo button down there. So sometimes if the kids' codes look a mess, you can just press undo until it gets right. Other times what they've done is they might have changed something like an arrow going the wrong way, or they might have just switched a couple of blocks around, and that can mess things up. So the code needs to pretty much look as it did at the start, as in all the blocks need to be in the same position. Some of the numbers can change, some of the values can change, that's fine. But yeah, often with the code there's an issue because they've done something a bit, they might put a block like this outside the loop or something, or outside an if statement. So just check that everything looks exactly like it did at the start. I've done heaps of Sumo Bot videos. Check out this playlist, which includes all my Sumo Bot videos. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.